A dramatic geopolitical and spiritual clash that grabbed global headlines may finally be cooling down. At the center of it, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, U.S. President Donald Trump, and Pope Leo XIV, three powerful voices pulled into a heated debate over war, morality, and leadership. What started as a sermon has now evolved into a high-stakes public exchange with global implications. The controversy erupted earlier this month when Pope Leo XIV delivered unusually blunt remarks on war, warning that God does not listen to the prayers of leaders whose hands are full of blood. According to multiple international reports, those comments were widely interpreted as a direct criticism of ongoing military actions involving the United States and its allies in the Iran conflict that escalated on February 28.
The things that I say are certainly not meant as attacks on anyone. And the message of the gospel is very clear. Blessed are the peacemakers. I will not shy away from announcing the message of the gospel, of inviting all people to look for ways of building bridges for peace and reconciliation, of looking for ways to avoid war anytime that's possible. To put my message on the same plane as what the president has attempted to do here, I think is not understanding what the message of the gospel is. And sorry to hear that, but I will continue on what I believe is the mission of the church in the world.
The reaction was swift and explosive. President Donald Trump lashed out on Truth Social, publicly criticizing the Pope and calling him weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy. The sharp rebuke turned what could have been a theological debate into a full-blown political and diplomatic feud, drawing reactions from across the world.
We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime. He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon so they can blow up the world. No, I'm not a fan of Pope Leo.
But now, in a surprising turn, Vice President J.D. Vance appears to be dialing things down. In a post on X, Vance expressed gratitude to the Pope after he clarified that his remarks were not intended to directly target Trump. As reported by the New York Post, Vance acknowledged that while disagreements exist, the situation is much more complicated than media narratives suggest. Pope Leo XIV, speaking to reporters aboard the papal plane during his 11-day Africa tour, addressed the controversy head-on. He insisted that his focus has always been on global peace and ending wars, not engaging in political battles. He also pointed out that much of the ongoing coverage has been commentary on commentary, distorting his original message. Importantly, the Pope made it clear that he has no interest in debating the U.S. president directly. Instead, he emphasized his role as a spiritual leader, preaching moral principles and calling out violence wherever it occurs. His earlier remarks describing the world as being ravaged by a handful of tyrants had only intensified speculation, further fueling the feud. J.D. Vance's response now signals a shift in tone. He highlighted the distinction between moral guidance and political decision-making, stating that while the Pope speaks to ethical issues, governments must navigate those principles in a complex and often chaotic world. He also added a symbolic gesture, saying the Pope would remain in their prayers and expressing hope for mutual respect. For now, the immediate tensions appear to be easing, but the underlying issues remain unresolved. The Iran conflict continues, global divisions persist, and the intersection of faith and politics is once again under scrutiny. The bigger question now is whether this was a genuine reconciliation or simply a pause before the next clash.